Hey there, aspiring guitarists. Today, for our guitar tip of the week, we're going to talk about the C major scale, but we're going to talk about it at a very beginning level. What I found, I even have a video about doing more with the C major scale, but that that started with the premise that you already knew the C major scale. And many of you have scales mystify beginner guitarists. They mystify old guitarists that are now retired and never really learned a scale. And it's one of those things in guitar that we form an opinion on, often based on a very, very small amount of knowledge. You'll hear people say things like, well, I never learned any skills. I play by ear. Well, if you learn your skills, it's going to help you to really play by ear. A lot of people say they play by ear, and I'm probably going to make some of them mad, um, but they don't. They actually play by trial and error. They play by memorizing shapes on the fretboard. And there ain't nothing wrong with that because we've got shapes and scales too. If you were to buy some of these courses that I've bought to try to help people on their guitar journey to where I evaluate them, you'll see many of them have ear training. That's the humidifier. Y'all know I don't turn it on and off. And I hope you can hear me just fine. I've got the microphone tried to position out of the way of the board back here, which I kind of want you to ignore the board right now. Um, Back to what I was saying. Many people poo poo scales. I don't need scales. I don't need this. But they did use shapes and they used frets. In other words, instead of learning C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, they learned third fret, fifth fret, second fret, third fret, fifth fret, second fret, third fret, fifth fret. And there ain't nothing wrong with that either. It's just another way of learning to do something. So I'm gonna, most of these YouTube scale videos I see, and some of them are great, but many of them they're geared to where you're at, and so number one, unless you've gone back and looked at the musical alphabet, remember that's the video I said the one thing that after a couple of times, if a student won't show me they're willing to learn A, B, C, D, E, F, G, repeat A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. The, the seven notes. Then you get an eighth note by the repeat of the root note again. That's your harmonic. That's your octave. Don't be confused by any of that. The idea with this tip for this week, and it may be broken into multiple parts, is to get you familiar with shapes and how they relate to scales. Now you're going to see people. They're going to get in here and they're going to go real fast and try to impress you. And then they walk it backwards. And they're the greatest guitar instructor in the world. And you're just sitting there in awe. Or you're sitting there going, I can't do that. Dude, you went too fast. And then you're going to see instructors that are trying to teach you how to do it faster and faster and faster and faster. And that just ain't me. I've been playing over 50 years, and I still make my scales the very first time I start in a practice with a scale of the many different scales. I do it slow. And even after 50 years, I usually make a note buzz. I don't hit it right. That's the reason I practice scales, among many other reasons. So I do different things I'm going to show you in this series of lessons. I don't just do, let me give you an example, and I'm going to go slow. This is a C major scale, And this is one of the many modes or positions. We'll learn about that too. Remember, you can play a scale all over the neck. If I start a C major scale on the third fret, fifth string, that doesn't mean it's the only place it can start. There are C notes all over the neck. And you don't have to learn every one of them either. And there's also little tricks to help you learn where they are. There's acronyms. There's things you're going to find out that the fifth fret has all whole notes with no sharps or flat. Wait, what's a sharp or a flat? That's something you're going to have to learn too. And if you'll get back to the musical alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, repeat, you'll also know there's an A sharp, B, C. There ain't no sharp after B because that's a natural half step. C sharp, D, D sharp, E. There ain't no sharp after E because that's the second natural half step. F, F sharp, G, G sharp, back to A. Now, that might have just blew you away, made you want to run away. But there's other ways to do that. And this is why I was telling you, you've got, well, here's your C. One place you can play the C major scale. We're going to talk about what all the scale is. So here we go. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Now that's the end of the scale. That's 7 notes. But then we carry out to the next root note, C again. That's your octave right there. Look, C, C. Here's another way to do that scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's the harmonic again, the 8th note. You may be going, I don't get it. You don't have to yet. I'm showing you, just like the person that says, I don't do scales. I don't do this. All right, stay with me with this one. This is most likely how they learned the C major scale, if they learned it at all, or if they learned a solo or a riff or this or that. And I'm not we beat up on each other with guitars. I don't need this. And many times we justify things. I ask you just to be open to learning. I've said many, many times, some people want to learn 2, 3 chords. That's all they want. And then we'll get a songbook, play some songs. More power to them. There ain't nothing wrong with that. This is your guitar journey. But I'm going to try to help you to be open to unlocking the fretboard, to learning that it's not the big mystery you think it is. There are so many notes on a guitar. I encourage you, if you have a piano, to use it, to find middle C, and from there you'll find the C major scale, and you'll see C, D, E, F, G, A, and go back again, and there's no half steps in that, and we'll get into that later too. But anyway, let's talk about another way to do this scale. All right, remember I did C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. I did do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Well, how about this? Let's count the notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How about this? Let's talk about frets. All right. You can also do strings, but for right now, let's just do frets, because that's one of the first things somebody that knows no music theory, they do figure out. First fret, second, third, fourth, fifth. They learn that. So C major scale, someone might go, okay, put your finger on the 5th string, 3rd fret. So this is how they learn it. They call out frets. They go 3rd, 3. All right, let's not do thirds. Let's just say 3. 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5. 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5. When I stop, 3, 5, that's one string. And that would have been the fifth string. 3, 5. Pause. Next string. Fourth string. 2, 3, 5. Now let's go to the. I pause. Now let's go to the last string of this. 2, 3, 5. 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5. Then you walk it backwards when you're learning scales. So, why did I do all that? I'm showing you there's different ways to learn something. Many people think in different ways. Some people have to write it down. That's a part of your guitar journey too. It's something that I do with a student. You know, I also make them write out on a fretboard diagram. We also go to music notation. We also go to tab. But those don't all come at once. And in fact, I know y'all think I start a student off with a fret light with notes all over it. I don't. That would overwhelm many students. This is something that I keep while I'm teaching them. And then I will hand them a fret-light guitar with notes on it when they're ready. Because until then, they're going to pretty much learn a scale or a chord the way that if I hand them a fret-light with the chord lit up, I'm going to hand them one without notes on it. These are progressive things I do. So a new student, once they're ready for a scale, well, they've already learned chord diagrams and things like that. They know where the frets are. They've actually learned about intervals. They've learned that from fret to fret, right next to each other, this fret to this fret is a step, a half a step. They've learned that 2 frets, starting here, 1, 2, is a whole step. And that gets into that pattern about scales have different patterns or formulas. So remember, what have we done? We've done do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. We've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've done the fret numbers 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5. Well, you can also do steps by intervals. So, and then I'm going to review on here on the board what we've covered, and we're probably going to stop right there because that's enough. So, and you know, you probably already got questions, but what I do hope you take away from this is that a scale is just a series of steps and patterns in a key, for instance, C or D or any of the letters in the musical alphabet. The reason that I start a student off with the C major scale and not the A minor pentatonic like so many people do, and if you were taught that, that's fine. Some people start with A minor pentatonic, later they introduce a major scale. I don't. I stand by starting with the C major scale because it has no sharps or flats. They're all natural notes, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. So, when we talk about those intervals, the spacing, the formula for a scale, another way we could do this is, remember we've already done do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've done all that. Here's another way. So we're going to do the root note, which is the first note. Root, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Let's do that again. Root, whole, half, whole, half. Now, if I wrote that out, and you're going to find that in a ton of books. Remember our pocket music theory? There's also scale books you can get. I've tried to introduce y'all to all kind of resources and books, and at the end of these parts, I'll try to list them all where there's a link. I'm Probably not going to do it on this first one because I don't want you jumping ahead to that. I want you to just have. I don't even want you to pick up the guitar for this. That wasn't the point here. The point here was to kind of demystify this. Now, you may be going, well, boy, you sure screwed up and missed that boat. One of these will work for you. It might be the fret numbering 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5. There's all kind of new things to learn. There really are. So let's do a quick review on the board here. Let me pull this up a little closer. Let's make sure. Here we go. Alright, so I talked about the C major scale. Okay, before I do that, let's go into, let me get my glasses. I'm old, Claire. Alright. Major scales and sharp keys. I really encourage y'all to get this book. I've recommended it so many times. Okay. Popular music is tonal. That is, it's melodies and harmonies, and you need to learn what a melody and a harmony is too. I'm going to talk about that in some of our tips, but define music melody, define music harmony. There are tons of really good YouTubers and definitions out there. You know, I'm a real big believer. I just can't stand a word to be thrown out at me and I don't know what it is. Now, I already take too long to talk as is, and I know that. I'm aware of that. But I do believe you need to look things up. So and I'm going to put that back on the student or the learner. So anyway, popular music is tonal. That is, he's trying to tell you what tonal means. Melodies and harmonies tend to be centered around a single musical pitch or key, the key of C, called a tonic. That pitch is called a tonic, and thus our music is tonal. A group of pitches arranged, and I just kind of showed you that arrangement. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. In steps, whole steps, half steps, whole steps. Around a tonic or pitch is called a scale. The scale that forms the basis of most melodies in Western music is a major scale. Okay, if you got to back the video up and listen to that, if you got the pocket music theory, I'm on page 12. I love this book. It'll fit in your back pocket. It'll fit in your purse. You can hold it. You can hold it with your phone while you're walking. It is a great book. And if you don't want to learn music theory or advanced things, there is nothing wrong with that. I will never look my face down on you. If all you want to do is learn a couple chords, good for you. I tell you what, chords are beautiful. That's why I try to emphasize letting chords ring out, learning to root them to the next chord you're going to, learning to do arpeggios, which is learning to strum individual notes instead of just strumming all 6 strings, and on and on. So anyway, okay, the C major scale, it has no sharps or flats. Remember, A sharp, B to C is a natural half step, on and on. Remember when I did that? But the C major scale has no sharps or flats. The other scales do. And the reason they do has to do with that. Remember when I said root, whole, half? When you carry out the music alphabet on a different scale, D, E, F, you're going to see that you do get sharps and flats. So there are no sharps and flats in the C major scale. That makes it a natural scale. It's natural. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. There are 7 notes, making it diatonic. That's the 7 notes of the musical alphabet. The reason we play that 8th note is we go back to the key. C, D, E, F, G. There's 5. A, B, we're at 7. There's your notes right there. Okay, there's your notes. But we play that 8th note, which is going to take us back to C again, which is the octave. It's the harmonic. So anyway, there's no sharps and flat. It makes it a natural scale. There's 7 notes, making it diatonic. It is tonal. That means it's centered around a pitch or a key. You know, that's part of the problem with music. Doggone it. We've got so many synonyms for things. And I know people will argue that. Someone will say, well, no, we don't. If you get down to, into hard theory, that they mean different things. But they're so close, they can be confusing. And then we often don't have the time to break apart key, pitch, this, that. So anyway, it's tonal. It's centered around a pitch. Example, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, repeat. Think the key of. If a guitarist, the leader of a band, says, we're going to be in the key of A, well, you can use many other things, the circle of fifths, the Nashville numbering system, all kind of things, but then it goes even deeper, and I don't say that to scare you. There are inversions. There are different ways to present that scale. These are exciting things to learn, not something to be scared of, but let's keep this at just an understanding level. It has a shape/formula. A shape or a formula. A shape, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, based on interval distances. Root, whole, half, whole, half. Based on interval distances. That's where these people that say they play by ear often go. If I was to just take the guitar, and if you really play by ear, okay? Well, I've turned my fingerboard where you can't see it. You'd be able to tell me what that note is. Many people that claim they play by ear can't tell you what that note is. That takes practice, listening, repetition, digging into the music, listen to something beautiful and go, oh, I know that, and things like that. But anyway, that's an A note. Now, if you're one of these people, I'm not saying they don't exist, that was blessed to know that was an A note without somebody teaching you that, well, I would ask you, how did you know it was an A note then? Somebody had to teach you something. So, you had to be taught it was an A note, or maybe you just recognize the note and know how to go to the guitar and play it. Now, yeah, that's truly putting it to practice, and maybe you're a savant, a wizard, a wonder guitarist, and you know what? I'd love to listen to you, and I don't mean that facetiously. There are people that are gifted with different things, but many of us have to be shown in steps and learn. And I've said this so many times, I don't ever want to master the guitar, ever. It is God's gift, as far as I'm concerned, that I never master it, because I always know it has more to teach me. And I don't want to be arrogant and make people think that I know everything, because I don't. I don't. I'm not even that great a guitarist. Now, and not in my view. I can play some beautiful melody and harmony combined with very simple chords. I'm a finger style picker. I'm a very instrumentalist type guitarist when I'm on my own and I'm writing my own songs. But then I love to play songs with family and in a folk group and gospel group. So, my guitar journey is multifaceted, and yours can be too if you want it to be. That's up to you. Okay, so we've got shapes and formula based on interval distances. When you hear that, interval distances, think frets and strings. Let me move this around a little bit. I know we got some reflection going on. Think frets and strings. Frets, strings. Frets, strings. Fret, string. Maybe instead of going 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5 to learn the C major scale, maybe you slow down. I'm a big advocate of that. And you go fifth string, 3, 5. Fourth string, 2, 3, 5. Third string, 2, 3, 5. Think frets and strings. Last thing, and I'm going to end it here. So we are going to have another part to this. I might even do it next week. I think this needs to soak in, and I realize, a lot of times they're like, well, you didn't give me nothing to play on the guitar. Well, I kind of did, and I'm gonna show you what you can take away that maybe you ought to write down. I'm a big advocate of writing something down. Remember, the C major scale can be played in different places. All right. And I can go on and on. There are C notes all up and down this fretboard. How do you think these great lead guitarists and all play all up and down the fretboard and it doesn't sound crappy? Well, whether they admit they know scales or not, they know shapes. They've learned how to put things together. They've learned how to take the 6 strings on the guitar, divide it up into strings of 2. They've learned little acronyms that help them. B, battle ends and down goes Charlie's father. Elephants and donkeys grow big ears. They do things that help them to remember. 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5. You want to play smoke in the water? 2, 5, 7, 2, 5, 8, 7. There's different ways to learn. There really are. Whatever works for you, works for you. If you go, well, I'm going to stick with the frets and screw your scales, David. Okay. It's your guitar journey. Never forget that. So, if you want to do the C major scale, all right, let's erase all this, and this is what I'm going to leave you with. Okay? Here's what you can write out. We're going to do S for the string number. 5, or 5th. So there's your 5th string, and here come your F for frets. 3, 5. String 4. Let's divide that. Fret 2, 3, 5. Okay. Let's go to string 3. fret. 2, 3, 5. Now we're not going to talk about walking that backwards right now. So there you go. You've got it. You've got 5th string. I'm on the 5th string up here. 6, 5, and then I'm going to do the frets. 3, 5. Now I'm going to drop to the 4th string, the one right under it, and I'm going to go 2, 3, 5. Now I'm going to drop to the 3rd string, the one under that, and I'm going to do it again. 2, 3, 5. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All the things we covered. So I hope this helps. I really do. God, this is hard. Kudos, compliments to you for learning. It's not easy to learn something. Everybody throws out guitar's easy, guitar's hard, guitar's this, guitar's that. Guitar's many things, but I hope it's part of a blessed journey for you. And most of all, as I always say, and I really do mean it, happy picking.